So thank you, Mignon. She already jumped off. And now, y'all, we have Dr. Lynn Love, our last session of the day. Are you all excited? I'm excited about this one as well. This is another topic I've been diving into, which is traditional Chinese medicine. Are you all excited to hear from Dr. Lynn Love? I know I'm excited as well. And so I will let her go ahead and end the day. It's been a long day. For me, it's been quick because I've been sitting in the same spot and I've been running around, emailing and texting. But are you all excited to have Dr. Lynn Love conclude this amazing session and receive this information? I know I am, so I'm going to let her take the floor and the virtual stage. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Avril, and thank you everyone here. I'm so excited to be here. And wow, today has been amazing. The amount of wisdom and the knowledge and the pack full of ancestral wisdom that's here. I'm just so honored to be here, and I want to thank everyone for being here with me as I share with you Chinese medicine. And we're going to dive into some energetics, and Chinese medicine is such a deeply energetic medicine. So we're going to get into that. First, I'm going to share my screen. And don't mind me, I'm in Costa Rica right now and it's raining, it's coming down. So if you hear some rain happening, that's what's going on. So again, welcome everyone. I am so honored to be here to share the wisdom of my ancestors with you all. And we're going to be talking about the 5 elements today and why this matters and why it's important to understand these energetics and how it can empower you in choosing the right foods, the right herbs for your body and for your wellness. And so we're going to be using the 5 elements of Chinese medicine to understand Chinese herbalism and food as medicine. So let's dive into it. First, I'm Dr. Lynn Love. I am a doctor of Chinese medicine, an acupuncturist, an herbalist, a modern medicine woman as well. I'm also a ritualist, a ceremonialist as well. I grew up actually, my first memories of Chinese medicine was going into the kitchen and seeing my mom cook these huge soups with Chinese herbs and congee and all of these different concoctions of things. And I didn't understand as a kid, but I knew she was making magic. I knew what she was doing was healing, and it was for the well-being, not only for her, but for her family. And so I really got rooted in early on in my life with this medicine and with the wisdom that she was taught from her own ancestors. So I'm very, very thankful and honored to be sharing Chinese medicine with you today. Not only am I a doctor and a medicine woman, I'm a 2nd generation Vietnamese and Chinese American. And I actually spent the last year treating about 350 patients in the clinic at different community acupuncture clinics, using herbs clinically as well, seeing all different types of conditions, health conditions, people going through many, many different experiences and using acupuncture, Chinese herbs, different modalities within Chinese medicine to help heal and support their lives. So this is definitely, this wealth of knowledge is not only coming from my roots, but coming from the 5 years that I took into deep studying this medicine. So I'm so honored to continue this path and sharing more with you all. So we're gonna keep going here into what we'll learn today. So today we're gonna talk about Chinese medicine. And I'm going to be actually talking about what traditional Chinese medicine is and what these energetic principles are within Chinese medicine, because Chinese medicine is an energy medicine, and it's built off these fundamental principles that teach us how not only to take care of the body, but how to interact in life and how to interact in relationship. And that's what I love about some of these deep frameworks, is that you can not only apply it to food and herbs, but you can apply it to systems and nature. And, you know, the ancient Taoists really took their time in observing nature. What was going on with the river? What was going on with the water element? How did that interact with the fire element, right? How does that interact with the earth element? They were able to take these more abstract understandings of what nature was doing and apply them and bring them into practical use. So that way we can support people in healing. So that's something that just really lights me up, because I love not only diving into the mysticism and the metaphysical, but bringing it back down onto earth. Like, how does this support our bodies in our daily life? So today I'm going to be using and talking about the wisdom of Chinese medicine and herbs to support our daily lives and our mind, body, spirit wellness. And I want each one of us to be empowered at the end of this, to take these principles and to start to look at herbs in our food differently. For example, if you're going through something, maybe you might learn something today that actually helps you understand, oh, maybe this is the right food that I should choose for this moment in time. And we're going to dive way more into that. But this is just a little bit of what we're going to go into today. And of course, Chinese medicine is a broad science and system of understanding the body. And so traditional Chinese medicine is a system that has been developed and originated about 3,000 years ago. And it has been highly documented, highly researched. It's been used by practitioners for centuries. And it's so fascinating that they've recorded all this information and able to understand what different herbs and what acupuncture points do based off of seeing how people respond to them. And so this system is really a holistic system that treats the mind, body, spirit. It honors the mind, body, spirit. And that's why this is a system that just draws me in, because it's about wholeness. It's about restoring harmony and wholeness. And by doing that, we have to use systems that look at the body in a holistic way. And the purpose of Chinese medicine is to restore yin and yang and qi flow. There's a quote in Chinese medicine that says, if there's qi that is actually stuck in a certain area, then it causes pain. And in Chinese medicine, we use the word qi to represent life force energy. And I want each one of us to think about what qi is for us. What is life force energy? And this is a question that we constantly ask as practitioners of Chinese medicine. What is qi? How do we interact with qi? How do I cultivate qi in myself so that way I don't have to try to take qi from other places? How can I build that qi within, or even use different foods and herbs to cultivate my qi as well? And so the purpose of Chinese medicine is really to promote the flow of qi and to then promote health and vitality. And I want you all to look at this symbol to the left here. This Chinese character is actually the traditional form of medicine. The top of this character actually means plants, herbs, and medicine. And so the bottom of this means music, harmony, tone. So the ancients actually connected that when we take different herbs and plants and we start to take the ones that cultivate harmony in our body, that actually inspires medicine in us. That inspires harmony within our bodies. It starts to align and become balanced. And so I love this because it reminds me that this medicine is not only about just looking at the energetics, but it's looking at the physical, it's looking at the mental and the emotional and the spiritual. And it is a root-based medicine. And so when we are using this framework of Chinese medicine and we're looking at a condition, then we want to actually get in touch with what is the root of this problem? How can we understand this problem from the very base, the very seed in which it was created? And then how can we use plants, herbs, acupuncture, breath work, lifestyle recommendations to then support our bodies in healing? Another thing on this is that the foundation of Chinese herbalism was actually created by a Chinese emperor called Shennong. And he was actually called the Iron Belly because he went out into nature and he would try hundreds of herbs and he would get poisoned. There's times where he did get poisoned, and they would call him Iron Belly because he would try all these herbs and actually document what these herbs were doing back then. And so that actually created a foundation of what Chinese herbalism is today. So let's talk about qi and what energy is. I want us to think about what energy is for us. How does that show up in your body? And just becoming more aware of the qi flow in your body can actually help you then cultivate more awareness of what's shifting outside of us. And I want to give us some examples here. We all have experienced seasonal shifts, and these shifts, you can see in this diagram, there's spring, summer, fall, and winter. And we see outside of us that there's changes surrounding us, there's changes in nature happening. So for example, in fall, we might experience feeling like the energy is shifting during that time. The leaves are falling off trees, the weather's maybe getting a little bit colder, maybe it's drier, depending on where you are in the world. Or maybe wintertime becomes a little bit more inward. Or in the summertime, our qi is a little bit more outward, right? Our life force is more out. We want to expand our hearts, we want to expand our spirits to go with the flow of qi of that season. And so by looking around us during the seasons, we can start to understand how qi flows just by looking at nature and by looking at the environment surrounding us. And one fundamental principle of Chinese medicine is that all things externally reflect the internal. So as there's a collective energetic shift happening outside of us, there's also a collective inner shift happening within. So as fall, right, outside, the leaves are falling, inside of us, there's energetic shift of maybe things shedding, or maybe there's sorrow, maybe there's sadness, or maybe there's a transition, right? Transition of a relationship or a job, or maybe a old habit or a pattern needs to be rewritten during that time. And so these energetic shifts are constantly happening in the external and then stimulate what's also happening in the internal. And then that keeps going in this symbiotic relationship. And so that gives us a little bit of an example of what qi looks like in the seasons outside of us. And so I want us to actually go within and start to think about how energetics of qi happen inside of our body, because this is going to give us the fundamental understanding of how qi is going to interact in our body through foods and herbs. And so as we enter spring, let's start with spring, we actually say within Chinese medicine that qi expands, right? During the springtime, things are blooming, qi is expanding, life force energy is coming out from under, right, during the winter time and coming out to spring and creating life. That inside of us is actually happening as well. There's a certain rise of energy that's happening. And then when we go to summer, there's a qi ascension. There's a rising up of qi. And summer is often correlated with heat, right? Heat rises. And then we have fall where qi also contracts. So the leaves are falling. Maybe the seasons are shifting. Maybe during this time we get a respiratory condition, or we're more prone to getting common colds, or just feeling under the weather and just wanting to go more inwards. And then wintertime is that qi descending, it's going down, it's descending down. And so nature actually teaches us how qi is moving. And this is how many of the ancients and the ancient Taoists were able to take a look at the seasons and then create the system of Chinese medicine to now create healing and create wellness and create a path that people can then follow the shifts of energy for deeper resonance and deeper healing. And so this brings us to talking about the 5 elements. And the 5 elements is this diagram here on the left that tells us so much. And actually, the 5 elements represent all things, and they exist within all things. And this is a more granular way of looking at the seasons. So, for example, the fire element would be more representative of summertime. The earth is a later stage of summertime where it's maybe a little bit more damp. Maybe there's still some heat, but there's more moisture, there's more humidity. Then you have metal, which represents fall or autumn, when it's time to contract and it's time to go inwards, and the leaves are losing and the trees are losing their leaves. And then water, where you have wintertime, and wood, which represents spring. To bring another level to this and to connect it to the body, each one of these elements actually show us how our physiology, how our organs come alive. So in Chinese medicine, we say that fire represents our heart, our small intestine. Our earth represents our spleen, our stomach, the area where we digest and we break down any gristle and lessons, and we actually harvest the nutrients for deeper nutrition and growth. And metal, which represents and is connected to autumn and to our lungs and to our large intestines. And water, which represents our kidneys and our urinary bladder, and wood, which represents our liver and our gallbladder. So during these different seasons as well, we might actually experience more impact to these organs. So for example, if there's more heat in the body during summertime, during that fire season, then it's going to impact our heart. Maybe we might have more insomnia, or maybe we have more palpitations, or we have more anxiety during those times. But at the same time, there's so much joy. And each one of these elements are actually deeply connected to a emotion, which this is a whole nother level of going into these elements and applying them to our bodies. And so when we have the earth element, this is related to our digestive system. And oftentimes during that late stage of summer, we might end up having some digestive issues or difficulty breaking down things. And this time, actually, we might experience a lot of worry, because the spleen and the stomach actually are very deeply connected to worrying, overthinking, overworking ourselves. So oftentimes people have a lot of digestive issues because that emotion is being used very often. And that's another big thing about Chinese medicine, is that when there's a physical condition, for example, maybe someone's experiencing some indigestion, then it might actually be due to them using their intellect, using their mind, and using their mind to overthink things and worry. This might be a earth imbalance. And so now we're talking about different imbalances. And then if we go to metal and we talk about the lungs being impacted during autumn time, if someone is experiencing, let's just say, a cough, or they feel under the weather and they feel like they might be getting sick or with a cold, then we're actually looking at this from a Chinese medicine perspective, that this person might experience a metal deficiency, right? So this now gives us the framework of treating the body, of taking care of the body, and of doing the things that actually support these elements. So if I was coming down with a little cold, then I would then balance my metal element, and you would do things then to support your lungs. And I'm going to definitely go into some herbs that support our lungs and support these different systems. But I'm actually giving you the framework of how to understand our body and how to understand the messages and the signals and just really what our body is trying to tell us. I really truly feel that our bodies are asking us to pay attention and to become aware, because they're leading us back to healing, because our bodies have everything they need to heal. It's just Are we open to listening? Are we open to being guided by the wisdom of our bodies? And to continue and to finish off the 5 element cycle, we have the water element, which represents our kidneys. So during wintertime, oftentimes our kidneys can go through a lot of impact or stress. So maybe we might have a lot more low back pain, maybe weak knees, just overall more tiredness. And a really key part of water is that the emotion that's connected here is fear and shock and trauma. And so if we are experiencing a lot of that, then we might actually be impacting our water element. We might be impacting our kidneys. And so again, these mental, emotional conditions or these feelings that we're experiencing may impact the physical, because in Chinese medicine, all things are connected. The physical, the mental, the spiritual are all connected. And so when there's one that is imbalanced, and it's going to cause an imbalance in the other. And when we have wood, this is our liver and our gallbladder. And this also represents and is connected to springtime when qi is actually rising and it's blooming. And so our livers are deeply connected on a spiritual level to our vision, but on a mental and emotional level to creating our visions and planning out our visions and using our motivation, our deep dedication to our visions to create this. However, when it's imbalanced, then it has a tendency to go more into heat signs. And when heat in Chinese medicine, we actually say rises, it goes into the head. And this can cause hypertension, anger, irritability, and this is oftentimes connected to the liver. And so these are some ways to understand how the 5 elements translate to our bodies. And we're going to dive into now how to break it down even further to understand our foods and our herbs. Because again, this is just another language to understand our body and to understand nature and to empower us into being our own healers and to being our own doctors and physicians. And so when you look at the graph on the right, fire is going to represent and be connected to the temperature hot. So each element is connected to a temperature. And also each element is connected to a flavor. We'll dive into the flavors very soon, but the temperatures actually are really important here, especially when it comes to different foods and herbs that we're eating or we're taking or thinking about or being drawn to. And so, for example, we have water and it's cooling. It's related to the cold temperature. And so oftentimes when we have a case or you have a condition where you have more heat in your body, for example, hypertension, or you have red eyes or conjunctivitis or anything that has heat rising into the head, we can actually incorporate foods that are more cooling or cold in nature in order to counteract that heat. And vice versa. We can also incorporate more cooling foods if there's too much hot in the body, or incorporate more hot foods if there's too much cold in the body as well. And I have some herbs that give us those examples. So we're going to dive into the flavors, because this is one of my favorite parts of learning Chinese herbalism and really like taking a look at what these different flavors do in the body is just so fascinating. And I just really want to continue just sharing this wisdom and putting it out there, because I think that when we get to look at different herbs and foods and say, oh, this tastes sweet, this tastes sour, this tastes bitter, that returns us into some natural ways of being, right? Our ancestors were deeply connected to foods and deeply connected to different flavors and being able to track down what certain herbs did based off of their energetic qualities and based off of their flavors as well. So in Chinese medicine, we say that we have these 5 flavors that are connected to the elements, but we break them down. So we have acrid and pungent, which a great herb, an example of this is garlic. Garlic is extremely pungent and it's acrid. And in Chinese medicine, we say that this scatters and moves energy outwards. So any stuck energy, any stuck qi in our body, we can actually incorporate acrid foods such as garlic to help disperse and move that energy outwards. And I'm not sure about any of you, but whenever I have garlic, it oftentimes makes me sweat as well. And that is because it's moving pathogens out of the body. That acrid pungent flavor has a quality of moving pathogens out of the body. So we like to give these acrid pungent herbs to clients oftentimes when there's a pathogen, or we say when there's wind stuck in the body or there's heat stuck in the body, we want to move that pathogen outwards. Then we have sweet or bland. And in Chinese medicine, sweet actually tonifies the body. It tonifies our life force energy. So having herbs and foods that are naturally sweet, like dates is a great example of this, or bananas, are really great at tonifying our life force energy. And we have the bland flavor that goes with this, which helps to drain excess fluids in the body. So when there's edema or there's skin swelling, or if you feel like indigestion, having bland foods could be really great to help to drain that excess water and to move that qi that's stuck in the body. And then we have sour foods. And a great example of a sour food is lemon. And we have many sour herbs in Chinese medicine that actually help to keep fluids in place. And this energetic quality, its ability to astringe and to prevent the leakage of energy is really, really key here. Having sour foods is really great at moving qi as well. And oftentimes it sort of rebalances and reharmonizes qi, and that when there's too much qi leaking out, it sort of brings it back into place and maybe tonifies it. So sour is a really great flavor as well. You have naturally sour foods and you incorporate into, give you lemon water and things like of this sort, then it's really great to keep your moisture and to keep the fluids in your body and to keep your qi. And we also have bitter. And bitter herbs and foods, I had a moment of really just not liking bitter foods and not liking bitter herbs. I had a point of time where I was taking one of the top bitter herbal formulas within Chinese medicine. And some of these herbal formulas have 10, 15 different herbs in them. And the one I was taking had over 5 different bitter herbs and some of the bitterest herbs in Chinese medicine. And it started changing my taste buds. I started actually liking and having an affinity towards eating bitter foods. And I think that teaches us a lot and trains our body to begin to heal itself when we can be drawn or even adverse to certain things. And so incorporating bitter foods can actually help to clear heat. When there's a lot of heat in the body that's rising up, or just a lot of stuck energy, then it can help to drain that heat downwards. So for example, having conjunctivitis, having any skin lesions or acne, having high blood pressure, things of these sorts, bitter foods and bitter herbs help to drain that drain that heat downwards. And so another quality that bitter does is that it descends qi. So sometimes we say within Chinese medicine that qi moves up, and when it moves up too quickly, actually we need to redirect qi downwards, and this can cause hiccuping, nausea, vomiting. So bitter herbs are actually great at redirecting that qi downward to where it needs to go. And then we have salty, which is really great flavor. So much of our food nowadays are salty, but that naturally salty food. So for example, seaweed is a really great example of salty food. And what I love the most about seaweed, as an example, is that it helps to resolve phlegm and mucus. So when we have stuck mucus in our lungs or stuck mucus anywhere else in our body, actually incorporating naturally salty foods helps to drain that downwards and to release any masses such as nodules and goiters and things of this sort. So these are sort of how we understand food and herbal Chinese medicine, how they interact in our bodies based off of just the flavor profiles. And I'm going to give you different examples. So we have fresh ginger. Fresh ginger is one of my favorite herbs. I've been journeying with fresh ginger quite a lot, especially because I recently had just had a cold. But fresh ginger is not only an anti-inflammatory and an antimicrobial, but in Chinese medicine, we believe that it stops vomiting, it helps to reduce toxicity of other herbs. And while we are sick, oftentimes our lungs can get affected and it can build up phlegm and mucus, and we develop that cough. That's what I had. And using fresh ginger actually helped me to move that outwards. So we're using that acrid quality of dispersing pathogens, and then that slight warm quality to then warm the body and warm the lungs due to getting cold in the body. And so another great function of this is that it warms the abdomen. And so one thing in Chinese medicine that we say is that cold can actually come into the body and go directly into the digestive system. And when that happens, it can cause stomach cramps, it can cause nausea, vomiting. So it helps to actually warm this area. So just drinking a tea with crushed fresh ginger would be really, really beneficial as well. Another note on this is that when cold gets stuck in the body, cold can also cause stagnation. So for example, if there is cold stuck in the abdomen, or even if there's cold stuck in the uterus, or there's cold stuck in the womb that causes infertility or menstrual issues, then we can actually use fresh ginger as a way to bring that cold out, lift it up with that acrid quality, and then warm the body internally as well. So this is a really, really powerful herb. It's one of my favorites. And I've chosen a lot of these herbs because they double as foods. And I love that about Chinese medicine because it deeply is intertwined. The food in medicine and medicine as food, it's deeply embedded in the culture. And so these are really great examples of that. And the next herb is Cassandra fruit, which is also known as Wu Weizi in Chinese. And this is known as the 5-flavor fruit because it's sweet, it's sour, it's warm, it's salty, it's pungent, it's bitter. And it's a really powerful herb. It's known as a counteractive to stress and overwork. It calms the mind by getting in touch with the heart. And so many of these herbs actually have this special quality of getting in touch with not only the physical, but the mental, emotional, and the spiritual. And so by calming the heart, we say that it calms the mind, because in Chinese medicine, our mind, our consciousness actually resides in the heart. And so when herbs actually get in touch with the heart space, it calms our consciousness, it calms our bodies, it calms our mind. This herb, at the same time, inhibits sweating. So again, it uses that sour quality to prevent leakage of fluids and of energy and of qi, and it generates fluids in the body. And so oftentimes we can use different herbal formulas that can be drying, or it could be it could use up a lot of our qi, a lot of our fluids. So using something like Cassandra fruit and incorporating it into herbs could be really great at generating fluids in the body and moistening the body from the internal and out into the external. This also helps to stop cough by preventing leakage of the lung qi. So again, when it's time for the lung to be impacted by the weather and things in life, we can use this herb to stop coughing and to help to redirect that lung qi back to where it needs to go and to be back into harmony. And this also stops diarrhea by astringing the kidney qi as well. And it's an anti-inflammatory, it protects the liver, and it's an antioxidant rich herb and fruit. We also have oyster shell, and this is another herb that I love talking about because in Chinese medicine, we believe that different herbs and minerals such as oyster shell, helps to ground the spirit. So we say that heavier minerals help to ground the spirit. So this helps to settle the mind, helps to settle the heart. It calms anxiety and restlessness. And so it's a powerful herb, and it's incorporated into a lot of herbal formulas that help to calm the spirit due to their heart and heart going outwards, or too much heat in the heart and things of this sort. So it helps to calm and settle the mind. It prevents leakage of fluids such as excess sweating. So again, it has that astringent, sour quality to it that helps to prevent leakage. And it has a salty quality to it. So it softens hardness, it softens masses and nodules. And at the same time, it's cooling in nature. And a lot of these herbs, you can learn a lot from them by just knowing where they're grown and knowing where they come from. So for example, oyster comes from the ocean. It has a cooling quality to it. So it's going to support the body in cooling down. And this is an herb that's known to help with stomach pain due to acidity. And it's a great anti-inflammatory, and it's mineral rich and calcium rich to support bone density as well. And we also have Pugong Ying, which is dandelion roots, and we actually use the whole flower and the root, and we dry it. And this is one of my favorite herbs. I love using this because it's highly detoxifying for the liver and highly clearing of heat in the body. And so the energetic qualities of this is that it's going to be bitter. So it's going to clear heat. It's going to drain any heat downwards. So for example, for any urinary tract infections, it's great at clearing that heat downwards and clearing the tract infection as well. It's sweet, it's cold in nature, and so it's going to clear heat. It's also going to be somewhat tonifying because it has that sweet quality. And so it helps to reduce any abscesses and nodules. It supports breast and intestinal abscesses as well. And it's a really powerful herb within Chinese medicine. And it's, again, anti-inflammatory. Many of these are anti-inflammatories because they clear heat and they settle the spirit. And this is one of my favorite herbs. It is red jujube date, also known as datsao. It's sweet and warm. And this is one of those herbs that you could just pop into your tea, or you can bring with you as a snack. It's such a great, easy herb, and it's so powerful at strengthening the digestive system and strengthening our earth element. And so oftentimes if we have indigestion or if we have any stomach issues, then we can use dates or red jujubes to be supportive to tonifying our qi of our digestive system. And this is also an herb that's used highly in Chinese medicine to counteract the harshness of other herbs. So sometimes other herbs have a toxicity to them. This can be used to counteract that, as well as ginger as well. And this herb is known to calm the spirit by actually nourishing the blood. And so I recommend this for a lot of my women, because oftentimes when we have our menstrual cycle and we lose a lot of blood, it can actually lower our spirit. It can because we've lost a lot of blood during this time. So using something like datsao can be really powerful at nourishing the blood, calming the spirit, and it's also an anti-inflammatory and an antimicrobial, and it's just a really great food to bring with you and to incorporate as well in your daily life. Another herb I want to talk about is cinnamon bark. And many of these herbs are accessible to us depending on where we are, but cinnamon bark is a really great example of how these herbs get in touch with our spirit, because it warms the kidney and the heart. And in Chinese medicine, the kidney and the heart are the two most sacred organs, and they have this powerful connection to each other by supporting each other in first having the heart go outwards, but kidney being that root and the origin of qi, and that connects us to our actual roots. And so this actually really is powerful at connecting the kidney and the heart and connecting our spirit to our root and warming that. So bringing more life force to that. So something as simple as incorporating cinnamon bark in your foods or in your herbs as well. is a really powerful and easy way of warming the heart, connecting the kidney and the heart together, and tonifying your spirit. Other qualities that this has, it's acrid, so it helps to move pathogens and anything that's stuck in the body outwards. So this is great for arthritis. It helps with cold, damp, wind, and it's going to warm the meridians. It's going to clear energetic blockages as well. Another herb we have is Chenpi or tangerine peel, which is acrid, bitter, warm, aromatic. This is going to regulate qi, move qi, and prevent any stagnation of herbs. I love this herb to transform mucus in the body. I've used this a lot during different colds and things as well.
Dr. Lev, we do have about 3 more minutes left. And so
Okay.
finish your segments today, but we might not have a chance to get to questions. So it's up to you how you would like to continue.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll quickly finish it because I would love to get to some questions. And so we can use these energetics to help support our bodies. So you can use cooling foods, warming foods, hot foods to help with different conditions that you're experiencing. And you can make herbal teas. So these are some quick suggestions of different teas and herbs that I love using depending on what's going on. And I want to open it to questions. I want to give people an opportunity to ask. So I'm happy and open to do some Q&A. Thanks so much, Aurora.
Thank you. So we have about 3 questions. We got 3 minutes to answer questions as we do have our VIP networking session coming up soon. So
Great.
I'll see if I can scroll up. Let's see. Are there any schools in the US that you can recommend for a TCM certification?
Yeah, I actually went to Pacific College of Health and Science in San Diego. There is a college in Chicago and New York. I believe there's a really great college in Oregon, and Bastyr has a great program as well.
Could you also speak on whether or not spicy is a flavor action, if that would be included in the TCM framework?
Yeah, I would. So that would fall under the acrid pungent.
Awesome. Are certain emotions related to flavor? Can sweet foods balance mean too much anger?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. This is another thing I love diving into is the emotional aspect of Chinese medicine. Definitely. So when, let's just say we have a lot of anger, we can actually use bitter foods and herbs to drain that heat and to bring that anger downwards. For example, if you were to incorporate more sour foods, you could actually prevent that qi from leaking outwards of the liver. But I would recommend incorporating more bitter foods and herbs.
Okay, that was amazing. We don't have to answer all of the questions, unfortunately, but what I will say about traditional Chinese medicine and a lot of indigenous medicines is that, excuse me, is that you do find that a lot of westernized medicine pulls from indigenous cultures such as TCM, especially when you look into energetics. It's like they take certain things and then that's it. But when you look into these indigenous cultures, you see, oh, this is where this comes from. This is where we're
Right.
getting all of these things from. And what I will also say, which is I've also found interesting, especially when it comes to TCM, a lot of these indigenous cultures and religions, they all tie from each other. They all have similarities, especially when it comes to qi, to that vital life force. You can find
Right.
that in Ayurvedic medicine. You can find that in African medicine, even the elements. Many of these cultures use elemental, things as well, such as African medicine and things like that. And so it's so amazing, learning about a completely different system of medicine, but still, being able to tie that indigenous, basis together through all
Yeah.
these things. So we thank you so much for your time and your space. Dr. Lynn Love also has an ebook in the bundle that's being released October 30th. So if you all want to learn more about traditional Chinese medicine, make sure to purchase Dr. Lynn Love's ebook. Do you have links as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You
My
can
link
reach out to me
person,
at Dr. Lynn Love and put them in the chat. reach out to me on Instagram if you have any questions or if you were inspired by anything. I just want to give thanks so much to everyone who showed up and listened and was open to receiving the wisdom of Chinese medicine. This is why I'm here. This is for the healing and the benefit of all beings. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm looking in the chat. Sorry, I'm looking for your links. My link person went on break. So
That's okay. Yeah.
I had
It
my
really is at Dr. Lynn Love on everything. That's my website and my
I
Instagram.
just
And
dropped it. So if you all can like screenshot that, it's in the chat right now. Try not to add any other things. It was going to go fast, but it's already leaving. So we just dropped it again. We thank you so much for your presence in this space. This was amazing. I was sitting here eating my food, watching you. I'm like, oh, this is great. Hey, oyster shells, we'll take that. So it was we thank you for concluding this session. We thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who showed up. I forgot to ask, what is your favorite color, Dr. Lynn?
Oh, I would say it's teal.
Teal. So I'm not sure if it's a teal heart in the phone, but drop some blue, drop some teal colored emojis. Green and blue is perfect to show love
Beautiful.
for the amazing energy and space and information that Dr. Love provided for us. And overall, the conference in general was absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for ending this space. You all make sure to tap in. We'll be sending out the links. If you miss any herbalist links, don't worry. We'll be emailing them all out to you later on. And if you miss any part of this day, we will be sending you an email, okay, with the replays tomorrow. So don't spam us tonight saying I didn't get the email. It's coming. It's coming tomorrow. You're getting the email. The emails will be available for 48 hours with general admission starting tomorrow, starting the time you get it. And if you have VIP admission, it's going to be available for lifetime access. So again, thank you, Dr. Lynn Love. We appreciate you in this space. We are going to hop off now for our VIP session with the VIP links. Now, let me tell you for the VIP session, just to let you all know, we did send out an email. Okay, as far as the VIP. So unfortunately, with regular Zoom meetings, it does cap and it does not allow me to upgrade past what I upgraded to. So we're going to have 2 sessions tonight to accommodate everyone. The first session will be from 6 now, so 6:05 to 6:35. And the second session will be from 6:35 until 7:05. So if it does not allow you to get into the first session, don't fret. You can join the second session, okay? You don't have to send a bunch of emails. Just come the second session. It's going to be identical, just us networking and sharing in this space, talking about the conference. So 2 sessions, okay? Join one. If it doesn't allow you to join the first one, join the second one. They're back to back. So you can use the same VIP link. I will see you all over there. Thank you again, Dr. Lynn Love. I am closing out, but before we go, one last time, you all, how did you love today? How did you love this section? Let's end with some energy. Let's end much gratitude. This was a long day, but I loved it because it was a lot of information. I was over in the background handling the tech stuff, but every so often I was able to pull gems here and gems there. Even the morning with Anga and Xochitl, that was amazing. I was having tech issues, but closing my eyes and singing with Xochitl because I was connecting with the ancestors. I was channeling the ancestors as I was stressed out. So this was absolutely amazing. This fed my spirit. Much gratitude for all of you all who showed up to this space. You all share on social media. If you enjoy the conference, make sure to tag us at BIPOC Herbalism on Instagram. Also tag me, Beauty Herbs and Tea. And that's all I have for you all today. I will see you all over in the VIP session. Again, if you cannot join the first round, join us the second round. I'll see you all shortly. Click on the same VIP link. All right, y'all. See y'all in a second. Bye.